Assistant dogs, police dogs, and pet dogs. Dogs are good companions to humans in many aspects of our lives. This companionship began tens of thousands of years ago. According to genetic research, dogs' ancestors were wolves. Some wolves realized that if they followed human hunters around, humans killed prey, and they could get the leftovers. Hunters also realized that they could tame and train the wolves to help them hunt. These wolves gradually became dogs. It is generally believed that as wolves became dogs, their bodies and natures changed. They no longer had to hunt because they were being fed by humans, so their mouths became more rounded. They also developed traits that helped them bond with humans, such as obedience, and fur color and ear shapes that are more appealing to humans. The shape of their intestines also changed to help them digest human food more efficiently. The wolf's howl, which was used to communicate with other wolves, also evolved and became the dog's bark, which is used to communicate with humans. But how does a ferocious wolf transform into an obedient dog? To shed some light on the mystery, Russian professor Dmitry Belyayev began recreating the evolutionary process of how dogs were born. He selected wild foxes, which are from the same canine family as wolves and exhibit a cautious and unfriendly attitude toward humans, as wolves do. Beginning in 1958, his research group bred these foxes for 60 years, selecting foxes that seemed comparatively more obedient in each of the dozens of generations. During this experiment, dramatic changes were observed in these foxes, not only in their behavior, but also in their physical appearances. In the initial stages of the experiment, no significant changes were observed in the foxes. However, with the sixth generation came the appearance of an elite fox, or, in other words, an obedient fox that behaved more affectionately and exhibited behaviors such as tail wagging, whining, and licking people like a pet dog. Furthermore, when a 15th generation elite fox was living with humans, researchers observed signs of a deep bonding and affection between a human and the fox. One day, much like a guard dog, the fox barked at a security guard that it thought was an intruder and stopped barking on command, suggesting that the fox had developed the loyalty of a dog. The behavioral changes were also accompanied by physical changes. As the experiment progressed, the domesticated foxes looked more and more like dogs. For one thing, there was an odd change to the color of their bodies. Some foxes had light brown speckles, while others were black with white patches of varying sizes. Other striking changes also occurred to these foxes too. They grew droopy ears and curly tails. They also had shorter bones in their legs and tails. Their snouts were shorter and their skulls wider. In other words, their skeletal structure became more like that of a dog. Professor Ludmila Trut, a member of the research group, examined the process of fox domestication at the DNA level. She found that the behavior and physical features of obedient foxes were linked to genetic changes in a region of chromosome 12. These new genetic changes were also found in the DNA of domestic dogs, indicating that the research group had roughly reproduced the dog's process of domestication at the genetic level. The results of this experiment suggest that, through a long and continuous process of selective breeding and human contact, wild wolves became the dogs that many of us keep as pets today. And we now know that this process occurs at the DNA level. Humans have been living with dogs for tens of thousands of years, earning them the title of man's best friend. Dogs have served humans as working dogs, such as guard dogs and herding dogs, and in return, humans have provided dogs with protection, respect, and affection. Through this win-win relationship over such a long period of time, the coexistence of humans and dogs has led to the dogs of today, and a friendship that is certain to continue for years to come.